Blog Talk Radio.
You're listening to Talent Culture's T-Chat Radio. The World of Work is live now on the radio with Megan M. Biro and Kevin W. Grossman, because middle initials count.
Come down, turn the radio on. Take my hand, turn the radio on. Come on, my favorite song, babe. Let's dance, turn the radio on.
Welcome everybody out there in Talent Culture T-Chat Show land. It is Wednesday, August 12th. It is 1 p.m. Eastern if you're on the East Coast and 10 a.m. Pacific if you're on the West, and somewhere in the middle. With you as always is Kevin W. Grossman, co-founder and co-host of the show. And of course, with me as always is the lovely and talented Megan M. Biro. Hello, Megan.
Hello, Kevin. Hello, world, community, everybody out there. Welcome to another informative Talent Culture T-Chat show. I just arrived back from the Midwest, and luckily I just adjusted my clocks because all morning I've been thinking I'm in Minneapolis. So I'm just back from a little mini vacation. And by the way, any of my friends and colleagues out there who have yet to be doing so, do me a favor. Follow me on Instagram. I am really loving that. Speaking of social networking and social channels, I am just in love with Instagram. I don't know about everybody else out there. So if we have yet to connect there, let's do it. You can see some of my daily adventures there, and I look forward to seeing yours. So
likewise, yeah. Yes, because I'm a huge fan as well. I share a lot of Beehive Power stuff in that stream with my girls, and
isn't it awesome?
It's all good stuff. Yes, and I'm glad you just came back, and we're going for a long weekend to Lake Tahoe with the family. So looking forward to that.
Oh, sweet.
As well.
That'll be nice.
So. Yeah, so should we thank some friends and sponsors?
Why not? I want to
and
give
dive
a
in.
Shout out to Dice, Jive, TalentWise, IBM, Career Builder, People Fluent, Smart Search, Workable, iCIMS, and our social analytics partner, HR Marketer Insight out in Cali. And we want to give a special shout out to our friends over at the Candidate Experience Awards as well. Both Kevin and I are active over there. Thank you for helping us make all of this possible. And, last week we talked about how employers can bridge the great debt divide. And this week we're going to be diving into one of our favorite topics here at Talent Culture World of Work, how social networking and the job search pay off. The power of social in media is obviously by now well known. And if it's not, somebody give me a call on Skype, would you? We can have a chat or on the Instagrams. It can be an amazing boon for your career development, but if you use it unwisely, it could ruin you. I've got to be honest with you. I've seen a lot of people kind of go down a very slippery slope on social over the years, and it's something to tune into, and that's what we want to talk about today. Is the idea of managing your online profile and persona, your personal brand, we call it, right? And where that starts and where that ends. Companies hiring or searching you and your brand, they're searching you online, right? They're reviewing who you are and looking if there's things about you, your personality, your style that don't add up maybe. Always want to have stuff add up as much as possible, especially if you're looking for a new job, right? And you've got a recruiter or a leader or an HR team looking at you, which is happening more and more, as we know. You want to tune into that. Social networking isn't a quick fix for managing your career, right? You need to be thoughtful about your brand and your point of view and nurture that every single day for it to really pay off. It's a lot of work, and that's something we're going to be talking about today. If you're listening, and I hope you are, and you want to participate on the Twitter chat during the show or for the T-Chat Twitter chat portion of it immediately following this podcast, do so. Jump on in. We're here every week, as you know, from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern, 10:30 to 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. So remember, this is a podcast. This is a Twitter chat. Let's have some fun, and let's meet our guest, Kevin, shall we?
Absolutely. So we got two wonderful human beings that I'm going to introduce next, and then I'm going to quickly introduce both of them, and then I'm going to jump back to the first one and let them each talk a little bit about themselves too. So Robin Schooling, love her to death, an accomplished HR leader, strategist, and advisor. I've known her for years in the space. She's got all sorts of senior level experience with human resource management. She speaks, writes, consults, advises on various HR topics. She's an advisory board member for Black Book HR and has served on multiple other advisory boards as well. She's been active with SHRM, Society for Human Resource Management, for those that don't know the acronym, although I'm sure all of you do. And also very involved in ATD and ASTD, formerly known as ASTD, and lots of other things. So welcome, Robin, and we're going to come back to you in just a second so you can talk a little bit more about yourself. But let me jump to our second guest real quick, and very special welcome to a dear colleague of ours at Talent Culture. Cindy Travella is the marketing manager for Smart Search Applicant Tracking Systems, and also, of course, our very own events and account manager here at Talent Culture and the T-Chat show. And she's really the production heart of every show, working with me and Megan every week to get these things done. So, and Cindy began her career in HR marketing communications at Madison Avenue, New York City, over 16 years ago. She's been involved ever since then in corporate HR training and development. She's also has had many of her own writing out there in the space. She wrote an ebook about how strategic human resource communications influence hiring practices. And we're very, very happy to have her not only on the show, but just every week to be able to work with her on the talent culture stuff that we do. So welcome, Cindy. Welcome to you both.
Thank you. Thank
you.
Hello.
Hello, ladies. Well, again,
Hello.
you know, it's exciting to have you both here with us today. I want to hear from Cindy first and then Robin. Cindy, tell us a little bit more about your background and what led you to what we're talking about today, and then Robin, give it a shot.
Absolutely. Well, about 6 years ago, a woman named Margot Rose approached me. She had started a job seeker movement and a Twitter chat called HF Chat, where we were helping people to find work and to network on social, and tips and ideas and tricks to get people working. That movement, as she called it, dissolved, and I eventually began another job seeker group with my friends Tom Bolt and Steve Levy, who are also your friends. We
shout out to everybody listed, by the way. Absolutely. We've been all playing here in the Twitter sphere for many years. So thank you for, mentioning Steve and Tom and Margot. It's absolutely been a fun ride.
Yes, absolutely.
Indeed.
Yes. So now Tom and Steve and I, we have a job seeker chat on Fridays, and it's been a labor of love for me, and I believe for all of them as well. And that kind of kept me in that whole sphere of helping job seekers. And I am absolutely positively a job seeker advocate and try to help people at every movement that I can. And in a little bit during the call, we can talk more about my own success in finding work through social too.
Excellent. Robin.
Oh, well, I too have been playing in the sandbox for a while, and dove into social quite deliberately, I think, and similar time frame really to what Cindy talked about. It was probably circa 2008 or so, and I really started paying attention and hearing, what's this Twitter I'm starting to hear about, and signed up for a Twitter account. I kind of planned some things out. Was already had a not very exciting LinkedIn profile and really wasn't doing things on there, but dove into Twitter and set out to do so with a plan, really. I knew I wanted to expand my network. I wanted to learn from people. I saw it as a great channel to get information and to consume content. I already understood that about it. But I also wanted to quite deliberately start positioning myself as someone who was, working in HR. I was with an organization. I was an HR leader, but I wanted to position myself as someone who was current and got it and paying attention and expanding upon sort of these new behaviors and these new ways of operating. And so I dove in, decided I'm going to use my own name. I'm going to kind of go out there and start to build this presence, I guess, for want of a better word, in the HR space, and just loved it. And that
you did, Robin, right? We've
been friends
a long time as well.
Exactly.
We've had fun both online and in person, right?
Exactly.
It kind of led to the in-person thing, which we'll talk about in just a little bit.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Let's dive into. Here's a question. Let's think about the top 3 things that you each would recommend to job seekers when it comes to leveraging social in your job search specifically. Cindy?
Yeah. Well, first, I would say social is something that takes time to build and grow and nurture. So, it's discouraging when I see people who have not been social start to be social with the hopes of trying to get a job solely for that purpose. Social is a relationship platform, and relationships take time. So you don't want to come into social when you need it per se. And I know that sounds odd to say that, but again, it's that relationship that you need to build and nurture. So start early, be involved. Another thing I would say is it's quality over quantity. You don't need to have a gazillion followers. You can, and that's great. I don't want to say that's not, but it's really quality over quantity. So you want to connect yourself with people who are who provide value, who are good content makers, people who you share common interest with, people that you feel that you can provide value to, and they would appreciate that. So that's something else that I would recommend. I also recommend that people, do be social, just be social. And that means being social on social media as well as in real life. And that's something that, Tom and Steve and I talk a lot about on our job chat on Friday. It's very important to have face-to-face time with people. I know you and Kevin are very pro that, and Robin too.
Yeah.
And
you can
getting out
here, right? I mean,
exactly.
People hire people are friends with people work with people, and the list goes on. I mean, really, it's not a substitute for in-person, and that's my view on it as well. I know Kevin feels the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So, good point.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, thank you.
So, Robin, what do you think? Do you concur with Cindy? Do you have some things you want to add to that?
Cindy is definitely spot on, and I think it becomes a use of social media can be should be sort of a thoughtful process, and like she said, you can't just dive in and hope something is going to stick when you need it. So it's sort of it's like joining the neighborhood association or going to the block party in your neighborhood. Getting to know people, doing things consistently. Social allows you. So use of social channels allows you to really differentiate yourself in a very positive way. Be yourself. Be real. Have a point of view. Talk about things that are important to you. Share back and forth. Don't just post. Don't just puke out things and think people are going to think you're awesome. Really engage with people.
Wait, is that not the way it works? Wait, hold on. That's not the way it works?
No.
Come on.
That's not the way it works. No.
Come on. I'm with Kevin on that. You got to be kidding me. It's about learning and sharing? No.
Exactly.
Never.
Right?
I know. Imagine that. But I think another sort of key aspect of it is it's not just always sunshine and unicorns and happiness. It is still a very powerful tool. So people that are using social, this comes back to being thoughtful, really need to think through, are they projecting what they want to project? And you look at the extreme of that, of course, somebody who's cursing or, whatever. Or you can just look at somebody who's maybe crossing the line while they're trying to use these channels for career development or finding a job or connecting with recruiters or whatever that may be. I usually define I would say my Twitter presence more so than my other social channels. When people say, or have said to me, well, what do you talk about on Twitter? The old adage of it's just people talking about what they had for breakfast. No, it's not what I talk. That's not just what I talk about. I probably break mine down. I say, probably 80% of what I do on Twitter is HR or talent related. 10% is football, especially as we get ready for football season. Go Saints! And
all right,
Raiders.
And another 10% is, I'm talking about cocktails or having fun or going out and having a drink or whatever.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Robin, because that's the one thing about you. When we get together in person, we share a love of cocktails together. So I'm so glad. We do.
Yes, we do.
Because Robin, HR synonymous with whipping it up in social, isn't that right?
Exactly.
That's exactly. Hey, listen, let's jump. No, that was great. Thank you both for those recommendations. Let's jump and now and talk a little bit about doing research when you're looking for a job, right? For the longest time, we know employers had the ability to research the candidates, fairly extensively, not so much online before pre-public internet, but they could do a lot more than what job seekers see. There we go. There's every time a bell rings, an angel gets a swing.
Is somebody calling us for a
somebody's
job?
Somebody's looking for a job. But anyway, I guess my point is that today, though, candidates, job seekers can do just as much research on the employer as the employer can do on them, right? So, Robin, let's start with you this time. Where should the job seeker start when it comes to researching employers that they're interested in?
And I'm gonna preface this by saying I'm gonna let Cindy talk about all the job search hashtags on Twitter, because she's like really has been involved for years of that.
The queen.
That's her.
Travella, the queen of hashtags.
That's right. So I'm not going to go there, but I think that's key. There are opportunities to do that, but other channels, think socially, and while of course, Glassdoor, for example, is monetizing the job search. In many ways, it's still a social channel. In that you can dive as a job seeker, I can dive in and do some research and look at what conversations people are having, or I shouldn't necessarily say conversations, they're just posting stuff. I take those things with a grain of salt, but those sorts of platforms are there. It's sort of the Yelpification of job search. You can go and find things just like when you're booking a trip. LinkedIn is a great tool, and again, sometimes we forget that there are components of LinkedIn that are social. But when you get into the group, when you get into the groups and you don't look at it as just a platform, for job postings or whatever, but you get involved in a group, you can assist yourself in your job search, differentiate yourself, and start to have conversations with the companies or the people that you're interested in. So one of the things that somebody can do is, maybe I'm interested in ABC company. And maybe ABC company doesn't necessarily have their own LinkedIn group or a LinkedIn page where I can participate, but I'm going to do a LinkedIn search and find out who the hiring manager is, perhaps for the department I'm interested in, or a couple of the recruiters, and I'm going to see what groups they belong to, go into those groups and provide thoughtful, relevant, conversational tips and be involved in the conversation. And I start to get known, and I can start to build a relationship with with that company or with those hiring managers or those recruiters. So that's certainly one avenue somebody could take.
I want to hear a little bit, and thank you, Robin. That makes a whole lot of sense, by the way. I started blogging, what seems like a gazillion years ago, and became, it's an area that I still spend a lot of time on between, my blogging community and the Forbes column, and I've got other media channels that I'm getting more involved with again. Tell us, Cindy, from your perspective, who should start a blog, a podcast, a vodcast, heck, a Twitter chat to promote their personal brand? And who shouldn't bother with that? Because as we all know, and we know here at T-Chat, and being part of T-Chat for many years, Cindy, and some of the other, chats, the OMC chat that you're involved with, it's really time-consuming, isn't it? So tell us, who should be doing this to develop and promote their personal brand, and who of us just shouldn't bother? Does it depend on industry, role, level?
I think it depends on motivation. Someone who looks at it as a labor of love is going to pour themselves into it wholeheartedly, and they're going to spend a lot of time doing it, and they're going to enjoy doing it. And there are also people who enjoy outreach and networking. Those are the people who are probably going to be the most successful for it. I don't think that vlogging and blogging and chats are necessarily for everybody, again, but it depends on your motivation. For people who have a mission and they want to get something accomplished, certainly they can be very, very successful at doing these things. Blogging, there are and I'm not telling anybody something they don't know here, there are so many blogs out there, and there are so many that are industry specific or career specific. So there's a lot of opportunities out there for people to write about something that they're passionate about. And those are the sites where they should be blogging, where they feel, I'm really committed to this topic, I feel very passionately about it. And that's something that anybody and everybody can do. If you can write, you can do a blog. Blogging,
but you don't have to be a good writer, right, Cindy? I mean, there's other channels. I know, I get off all the time, what to do. I'm not the best writer. Are there alternatives for me? Do you have thoughts on that for people who just don't have those skills or are not interested in starting a blog?
Yeah. I mean, No, it isn't necessarily, but, the opportunities are there if people want to take advantage of it. As far as, blogs go, that's kind of like this, new video thing. Sure, we all speak, we all talk, so you can do that too, but again, you have to have a reason to want to do it. There has to be some kind of a passion or a mission behind the whole goal for it to come across, in a real type of way, the real person.
Don't forget the passion, right?
Yeah,
so key.
Videos are a really good platform just because it's also a way for you to see and be seen, even if you're not, whether you're comfortable with writing or not. But you know what? But Robin, I want you to add on to this, but I want to add a little. I'm sure you saw that social post that Lori Rudiman did about how there's 4 different, I guess it was based on a conversation she had about 4 different kinds of writers in our space. Like there's the cynical writers that know stuff about HR, there's the productive, positive writers that know stuff, and then all the crap in between, right?
Yep.
So, but I mean that's true for most industries, right? So with that in mind, how do you comment on what people should do online to promote their brands?
I mean, I think, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it truly does come back to sort of being thoughtful and sort of self-aware of the personal brand, if you will, that you're comfortable with sharing. So there are certainly some, especially if you're working for an organization, that's always a struggle. You're in a traditional HR role somewhere. Right. It just adds a whole level of hesitancy. I was fortunate in that when I started blogging and started kind of stepping out socially, that my employer was fine with it. My CEO kind of loved it. She would retweet stuff and share my blog.
Oh, nice.
And I was a little more cognizant, of course, at the time. I didn't swear as much and things like that because I still was working for somebody else.
I was like, yeah, really?
Yeah.
Because that's the Robin I know and love. We'll get to that later.
I was a little more. I was a little less pointed, let's say, in my blog posts, for example. When I went out on my own a couple of years ago, and I thought, this gives me a little more freedom to sort of, I don't know, let my voice come out. So while I don't curse, with abandon, if I feel the need to, I will do so in a blog post, for example, and I'll pull less punches, I guess. But I made that decision and said, that's okay. It makes me unhireable for certain organizations moving forward. There are places that would never hire me because of the vapor trail that I've left on the internet, and that's okay. But I was aware of that, so I kind of did that.
Right.
Did that,
and so,
knowing
so
full
Robin,
well.
I must ask you: do you only do potty mouth live at conferences then?
No, I do potty mouth live on my blog, preserved for all eternity now.
You are. I have to tell you, you are so much fun. Anyone out there who has yet to meet Robin Schooling in person, you are missing out. She is awesome. And speaking of awesome,
hey, we've got three. We got 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
All right. Hey,
3 minutes.
Cindy,
3 minute warning.
Do you want to share your social networking story on how it paid off for you in your job search, and then we can wrap this party up and head on over to the Twitters?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have been, I was an early adopter of T-Chat. I got to know you and Kevin and Talent Culture and the whole T-Chat show on Wednesday nights. And, you know me, I knew you. And a few years ago when I had a family situation that took me out of the workplace, I was out of work. And when I was trying to get back into the workforce, I contacted Megan and hooked up with her. There were some opportunities to work on Talent Culture, and I am here almost 2.5 years later. We have been working together, and that all came about through our relationship meeting on social. Also, earlier this year, I have been working as a manager of marketing over at Smart Search, and that came about through my acquaintance with Sylvia Dalby, who introduced me to the CEO, Doug Cool, over at Smart Search, and now I am working for them. So this is just a case study to say social media can get people work. I didn't start out knowing all of you for that intention, but it did evolve into that, and I am absolutely 100% in favor of using social to get work. I'm living proof it does
nice.
Work.
There you go, everybody. We've got a real-life career story unfolding. And Robin, any final words for us today from your end?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, and this is what I always tell when I talk to HR practitioners in particular, which, it's a lot of the folks we have on here today. Don't feel that you have to get involved in social just because, everybody else is doing it. But if you do it fully. Enjoy it. Remember, it is social, as Cindy alluded to. Get involved. It can be a lot of fun. Don't be afraid to dip your toe in the water because you think you might be too late or it's too overwhelming or any of those sorts of factors. Come join us. We don't bite. We're fun.
Exactly. Thank you, ladies, very much. So we're going to jump on the Twitters now. You're both going to jump over there, and we'll keep this party going.
Ready, sir.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye. See you on Twitter.
Thank you.
Bye.